Strickland, yeah. So you think about his style; it's adapted to his style. It's adapted to his genetic gifts. Good cardio. So he doesn't have a lot of knock. There's no power. Like he doesn't have knockout. But he's not explosive.
Yep.
Super athlete. You know.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's just from sheer hard work and coming from nothing.
I understand.
Showing up every single day.
But his style of fighting, whatever you want to call it, the way he trains, getting to a point where he learned how to avoid getting hit.
You know how? Sparring all the time.
Of course, but the way he sparred was intelligent, right? He seems to have a high fight IQ, like being able to kind of shut down Chimaev's chokes and everything. He's a sneaky pain in the ass, right? He's just
experienced. He has a ton of experience.
It's more than experience.
That goes a long way.
It's got to be fight IQ. There are a lot of guys who fight forever and they don't have that fight IQ. Here's my question.
I beg to differ because he's seen all the styles, and if you've been doing it that long, you know how to defend a rear naked choke. You know how to defend takedowns.
But see, there's a large part of it is when you
he's
train
also in
that
his
long,
prime.
When you train that long and avoiding injury, avoiding damage.
He didn't avoid injuries. He's missing a quad. You know what I'm saying? Like he has injuries.
He's got injuries, but
he's had nonstop injuries. Like when his first fight, or his second fight against DDP, his shoulder's a wreck.
Okay, but see,
he has a lot of injuries.
I actually think that someone like Sean.
But all I'm saying to wrap this up, all I'm saying, his fighting style is you have to adapt. Same as Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz ain't knocking you out.
Right.
What's he do? Volume punching, heavy pace, good cardio. There's no other way to go. You ain't knocking. You're going the distance.
Yeah.
You ain't finishing anybody.
Very different fighters in a lot of ways.
Ooh, I disagree.
Right? Nate took a lot of damage. Sean doesn't. Nate's a champion. I mean, Sean's a champion. Nate didn't come close to it being a champion.
Correct.
There are a lot of those things. So
the similarities are in what they were born with. Neither one's a really good athlete.
Well, again, now we get into this conversation about athleticism, right? There's gamesmanship.
You're saying like mostly physically though. You're saying physically.
Yeah.
But so there's gamesmanship, but with fighting like that, striking, his ability to sit in the pocket and avoid, like just being able to check kicks, avoid, movement. I mean, the way he trained, he figured out a way to solve that puzzle. Whether it was Adesanya, whether it was, all these guys. That's impressive as shit. That's gotta lend itself to a certain fight IQ. But here's a larger question. The reason I say, as I get older, that Sean Strickland would have been successful. I don't say in football, I'm saying in life. He would have figured, all through all the trauma, Sean Strickland would have found his way through in something.
I disagree.
But let me tell you why. I believe that people like Sean Strickland or people that are successful because they have a spirit that just won't quit, that won't give up. It's not Sean. It's that spirit inside him. It's that kid who was holding on to his mom's feet who said, someday I'm going to get through this shit. It's that kid at 16 who said, I'm going to face this dragon and knock him the fuck out.
Or they end up in jail and murder people. like Sean Strickland's saving grace was fighting.
Hold on.
Because Sean,
let me finish.
But hold on, if you listen to the interview, he goes, every day I wake up and I have to constantly make an effort not to just beat up people I don't like.
I know, but he made but okay, very, very good. I'm glad you said that.
He goes, I'm a violent guy.
Very good. I love that you said that. Now watch this.
But why is he violent?
Hold on, watch this. You're making my point for me. Every day that guy woke up and made the right choice, not the wrong choice. And there are a lot of people that make the wrong choice who go through half the trauma he did. Now, someone like that figured out, he said, no matter what happens, I want to make the wrong choice, but I'm going to make the right choice. And that's been that guy's life, which is why he is where he is. Now, here's a question. Hold on, you got to let me finish.
Yeah, but you're missing a bunch of parts.
No, I'm not.
Because you haven't listened to the interview.
But it doesn't matter. I know who Sean Strickland is. I don't have to listen to the interview because I'm seeing the product, right? The final product. Now, watch this. A villain in literature and a hero in literature, they have the same exact origin story, right? We talked about this.
Yeah.
So watch, Khalil. The villain, his dad beats the shit out of his mom, or they, whatever. And the same thing with the hero. But somewhere along the line, the villain says the world hurt me and I'm going to hurt the world. And the hero says the world hurt me and I'm going to make sure the world never hurts anybody else like that again. Sean Strickland made the hero's choice. He didn't make the villain choice. Now, why is that already in a hero? Are heroes and villains born or are they made? And because they're making the choice at the same time.
They're made. Yeah.
I think they're made.
Why do they make the choice? Why does Sean Strickland say, I'm not going to be violent today? And why does the other guy do something and go to jail for the rest of his life? What is it about that?
Because Strickland chose a career in fighting where he can still be violent. If he got a job at Home Depot, he's going to have problems.
But he made that choice, right? Smart.
Well, it was a means
like
to
maybe
make
you
money.
become like a very successful criminal. You know, he can still be successful.
can
Part of
still
where,
make
but learning where to place your energy, right, is part of intelligence. Like saying, I'm a born fighter. This was made for me. I have all this anger. I'm going to put it into that gym, on the mat and in the ring and in the cage. Boom.
You think that's innate?
Oh my God, these two dudes having a heated argument over Sean Strickland. Jesus. I love how Callen, though, called out and went off on Schaub for not letting him talk. And then Schaub just continued to interrupt and babble through anyway. They had on this guy. That's the guy from, what do you keep saying? Fight Camp or Fight Champ? That's the guy Schaub invited to the studio, and he asked, hey, where'd you get that UFC 250 belt? And Schaub lied and said, the UFC sent it to me, not telling him that he paid for it and had it ordered. But what these two dudes are arguing about, who cares? But what is with Schaub and the short shorts? We're getting close to, terms of service here with these short shorts. It's like he's wearing that thing sumo wrestlers wear. We still got the sneaker on the goddamn table. The sneaker doesn't change, apparently. Ugh. You think Schaub was embarrassed when he was like, hey, when you come by while we shoot a podcast, and not realizing he invited the guy to a fucking storage unit, and how embarrassing that is to watch this redact in short shorts holding a big gulp and not letting anyone talk. Ugh. Look at Callen just sitting there. Callen just like 25 grand a month. 25 grand a month. I really hope Callen answers that question that I saw, because Callen's going to be doing a Patreon Q&A, and someone asked him a question about, since Schaub just signed the biggest deal ever according to Schaub, shouldn't they get a new studio? I hope he answers whoever asked that question, that guy who I'm assuming is very good looking and totally doesn't lisp or anything. But aside from that, what a complete shit show this podcast is. They had this guy on. He added nothing. And Callen got all pretentious because the guy is like from France or something. Then he's a Muslim too or something. So, Callen's like, I grew up in the Middle East. Ugh. And then babbling over Sean Strickland. Like, who cares? But, that was them arguing, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you agree with? Do you agree with Schaub that, I don't know, what's his overall point? You gotta be poor or something to be good? Does that explain why he's not good? Is that why he's losing everything to try and make his kids poor so they might actually make it in sports? Is he doing that subconsciously? I don't know. Or do you agree with Callen? I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.